When the Ukrainians came to England, claiming that they were looking for asylum because they were in danger, you think to yourself that these people were desperate to get away from a war-torn country, and beggars can't be choosers.
I'm the bottomless pit.
When you're escaping for your dear life, you're lucky once you land on a so-called safe soil. You should be happy to be alive, okay? But the Ukrainians, who apparently Putin called Nazis, I wonder that's the reason why America and Britain is helping them, so much. But Putin called them Nazis, and he was fighting against white supremacy. This is what Putin claims. And when you look into the background, you do begin to see that Putin was right. The Ukrainians were actually fostering Nazi sentiments, okay? Hence, when black people wanted to leave, also Ukraine, they left them there. They don't want black people living in England or America, yet they want you to stay in Ukraine. If Ukraine sort this shit out, then they want black people to leave Ukraine. You can see the irony of it all. However, these Ukrainians, when they came to England, they're obviously in a culture shock. They couldn't believe how many black people were here. They didn't mind the Muslims. They didn't mind the Sikhs or the Hindus. They didn't mind those people. It was black people they were shocked at. And I'm thinking, wait there, black people were here. Black people were here. In fact, they claim since the Roman Empire, ran England, there was an African already in Britain. Okay, the Windrush generation came about in 1950s when my parents cleaned up Britain, because the Germans bombed it twice, 1914 and 1937. The Germans bombed Britain, and as a result, they needed labor, and my parents came over to help build Britain. But Ukrainians, they're not interested in that. They felt safe that Suella Braverman and Priti Patel and Rishi Sunak, they felt safe that those Indian faces were saying who they can attack, i.e. black people. Rishi Sunak and Priti Patel and Suella Braverman, when they say multiculturalism has failed, etc., they didn't tell you why. All they were doing were lobbying far right-wing vote. And they didn't even tell you why multiculturalism has failed. All they were doing, they were using strong arm tactics. They were using, if you like, strong rhetoric and fear. They were using fear in order to just try and stay in power. I didn't care how they do it. Multiculturalism has failed, knowing full well that those that have got a mind of their own would start jerking off to it. You see, white people are under attack. We're under attack. Jerk off to it. And these are the low-mindedness that, the Tory party were targeting. Ukrainians saw that, and they felt safe. That they've only been here 2 minutes, and they felt safe. They already know who they can target because the government gave them that mandate. And the government will not tell them we're a multicultural society, don't say things like that, because the government already said that multiculturalism has failed. Anything goes now. It's failed. You can no longer use the term we're a multicultural society. Even in Germany, they now say multiculturalism has failed. That to me sounds like the march of Hitler. That to me sounds like 1930s. scary Hitler all over again.
Oh, Lord. Won't you hear me sing? Won't you?
They're beating the right tune, the right drum, using the right rhetorics, programming people's minds. They know what they're doing. But there's too many black people, too many in England, says the Ukrainians. And they weren't punished. They weren't told, go back to Ukraine with that nonsense. They weren't told that. They were embraced for it. It's only the newspaper like The Guardian that covered it. No other newspapers covered it, that Ukraine's, the Nazis, says there's too many blacks in England.
This old mansion. Minute after this.
They kept it quiet because why? They're happy. They're happy. It's okay, you're white. You can say things like that. You know, too many blacks. I said, like they just woke up one morning. All too many blacks here. Hello, we're staying here. What are you talking about? You're the one who got temporary visa. You're the one who's supposed to be here for only part-time until things sort of shit out. They wanted the government to worship them even more. Never mind giving them arms to fight against Russia, but they thought the government would, like Israel with Hamas, you know, and Israel knows all she has to do is go to the government. Look what Hamas doing, and immediately, boom, boom, they'll give them more arms or whatever. They can do whatever they want. Well, Ukrainians are thinking, well, as long as I'm Ukrainian and I'm white, I can do whatever I want. I can say whatever I want. There's too many blacks. Too many blacks. And they felt happy, you know, that they can do that. Why? Multiculturalism has failed. They've been given the mandate. It's getting serious. While the trans are happy. People are scared of the trans. They're scared of the Jews. But you know something? Race relations, where black people and white people are, race relations are not looking up at all. It's getting worse. You know, if you're in an interracial relationship, you better run to the hills. You better run with your children because things are about to kick off. It's not looking good at all for race relations. And the only reason being, not because the government, you know, really think multiculturalism has failed, is because the government, they need racism in order to stay in power. They need to keep the thick fearful, keep them fearful at any moment. White genocide, even though blacks in America are only 13%, and in England, blacks are only 3%. But talk about white genocide, that's how they keep black people poor and white people poor, fight amongst ourselves. And at any moment, the boogeyman's going to come. And what they're laughing in their big rich houses, laughing at us, how they can control us. Now that's what it's all about. Too many blacks, said the Ukrainians. Too many blacks. Well, you know, 400 years couldn't kill us. I don't think you can. We've only been here 2 minutes.